Going live is a great way to connect with your community on YouTube. Not only that, it's a great way to build watch time hours. But did you also know it's a good opportunity to sell to your audience and actually make sales of your courses? So I'm going to go over how I use the YouTube live stream function to sell courses. If I have a promotion going on, how I use it to promote my courses and make more sales to my audience here on YouTube. So a lot of times I will set up a day where I'm going to run a live session. I like to try to post that at least 1 week in advance so people can see it popping up in their schedule and maybe write down the time or turn on their notifications so that they know when I go live. Now these lives typically center around some piece of information. So I'm a guitar teacher, so if I were going live, I might focus on something like how to practice your guitar, maybe how to strum your guitar. All right, so we'll use that for this example. I'm just going to pretend I'm going live about strumming and timing on guitar. So I would make a thumbnail and I do a title. It says something about learning how to strum or perfecting your timing on guitar, tips and tricks with Lauren Bitman Live, and I start promoting a live session. Now what I will do is in the chat before I go live, I will already go ahead and put a link to the product that I'm going to try and promote. So if I have talking about strumming, I'm going to promote my strumming course most likely. So I would pin to the chat the link for my strumming course. So that's step 1 and 2. 1 is you're going to pick your topic, and then 2, you're going to pick the product that you eventually want to pitch or talk about during this Q&A or this live session. Now what you're going to do is you're actually going to start providing value. Once you go live, you're going to teach them maybe 1 or 2 things about strumming and then possibly reflect it back to the course. For example, if I was talking about strumming and timing, I'll be like, hey, we're going to do a strumming pattern. Let's try playing this together. If you have your guitar, grab it. We're going to just try playing together for a little bit so that we can work on our timing. And then I would go and play. And I say, if you found that helpful, in my strumming course, if you're interested, I do have a strumming course where, you guys can play along with me just like this. So if you're having trouble with your timing, I'd highly recommend you go checking out that course because, being able to play with someone else and work off their timing is super helpful. I know I pinned a link in the chat. Just go check that out or go to laurenbateman.com/strumming and then they can, hop on over there and go check that out. So you're kind of intriguing them because 1, you're providing value and hopefully it's something that's going to help them in this live. So if you're talking about strumming and timing, you want to make it something that is beneficial and is actually going to help the student in this live session. Now, my strumming course is probably about, I'm going to guess it's around 50 lessons right now, 50 video lessons. So if I teach them 1 or 2 things, there's still 48 lessons in the course. You're not going to teach someone an entire course on a live. You just want to give them a couple tidbits that you find helpful, and it kind of gives them proof that, hey, look at what we're doing here live. If you're finding this helpful, well, you should go check out the course because there's going to be a lot more helpful things that are going to help you solve your problems and get a little bit further with your strumming than I can just do here on a live session. And something else that's really helpful that I like to do is to call on people. And I say, hey, if anyone's here that's in my course, just put your name in the chat. Tell me if you've used the course, if you found it helpful, and then I will go over to the chat. Because sure enough, there's always a few people on live that have taken one of my courses. They probably have taken the one I'm talking about because I have some very, very popular courses, and those are the ones that I usually promote the most, is the really, really popular courses. And someone's going to go, oh, you look down at the chat and you go, hey, John, oh, that's awesome. I see that you're using my course and you're getting great results from it. And I also see Nancy chimed in. She's saying she took the course now and is loving it. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Nancy. And this does a couple things. 1, it provides a connection with your audience, your current customers, because the hard thing, this is always the funny thing that I find with being, a YouTuber is, to our audience, we are superstars. I have events that I've held in the summer. My wife always tells me the story, and we find it very interesting that I had these events and I had a meet and greet. We had some food and, some music, and we're hanging out, meeting the students. And students were coming up to my wife and they were like, can we go say hi to her? And she's like, yeah, she's right there. Just go say hi. And they're like, no, but we can go up to her and talk to her. And she was just so surprised, kind of how starstruck these clients were with me, because I mean, she lives with me, and me, I'm not, I'm not a movie star, I'm not The Rock, I'm not anyone like superstar, but to these clients and these students, I was their superstar. So remember, to your students and your clients, you are that superstar, and by you just saying their name and calling them out and recognizing them, that brings a lot of goodwill to that particular client. Like, oh my God, Lauren said my name. Like, oh my God, she said my name. She recognized me. That means a lot to people. And also, by doing this, you're not only calling out and giving credibility to your current clients, you are also showing the social proof. Like, these are live testimonials in your chat, being like, hey, if you've used my course, just, let us know in the chat. What did you think about it? Are you doing it now? Did you finish it? Like, did you find it helpful? And like I said, lo and behold, there's always a handful of people like, I'm doing the course. It's amazing. Lauren's awesome. You should definitely buy the course. So you have the testimonials now built into the chat. And people are going to go read those, and they're going to check, and they're going to see that these are real people who've taken a course and are just like this. This is something else I do. I have my notes here, is you can handle objections within that as well. So a lot of my students, I focus on older adults over the age of 50, and a big objection that a lot of my clients have is, are they too old? Did they wait too long to start? So a question I like to ask on my lives, I'll be like, not only like, where are you from? Put in the chat where you're calling in from. Oh wow, we have people from India, we have people from New Zealand. Tell people, put in your age. If you feel comfortable, put your age in the chat. I want to know how old you are in your guitar journey. And granted, I'll look down the chat and be like, oh, awesome. I see Sal said he's 55. Oh, Julie's 72. And then I'll keep scanning and I'll find one. Granted, there's always someone who's in their 80s or 90s. And I'll be like, oh my God, do you guys just see, like, Joe's 92 years old, and he's here and he's learning guitar. And I use that as an example to show people, one, there's a lot of other people out here who are your age and they're doing it. But two, there's always someone out there who's a little bit older than you. And I tell people, like, 92 years old, like, that's phenomenal. Welcome. I'm so happy to hear that you're learning guitar. See, everyone, you are never too old to learn guitar. I saw a lot of you guys say you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s. Joe here's 92. So it just goes to show you it's never too late to start. And you can see, it comes off a little, people watch me on camera. I was filming in Texas a few weeks ago, and people are like, wow, you're just so natural on camera. I've done this a long time. I have a lot of experience doing this. I'm comfortable with selling online, and I'm comfortable with pivoting between these different points, answering objections, selling. See, but it doesn't feel like I'm selling to the client. I'm just pointing things out naturally that are true, and I'm mentioning the course. Hey, go check this out if you wanna learn more. I pinned a link to the chat, or there'll be a link in the description below. Just go check it out. If you have time, I really recommend it. And then I'll always go back to the chat and I'll answer some more questions. We might do some more Q&A. You want to be fun. You want to be entertaining. You want to get people to get to know you. And when I go live, it's usually not like a 15-minute pop-in. When I'm live, I'm usually on for like 45 minutes to an hour sometimes, especially if you get a lot of Q&A. If you get a lot of Q&A, you could stay on for a full hour, depending on how long I explain things. So, make it worth their while to come on and hop on. And the watch time, like I said, the watch time on these lives, especially when you get a few hundred people on a live, the watch time just explodes, because some people will stay on for 45 minutes to 60 minutes. They'll stay on from the beginning to the end, or they'll jump in halfway and they'll stay on for a half hour. So the watch time just goes through the roof on these things. And evidently, other questions will come up, because I have a lot of courses and I don't advertise a lot of them, and almost always someone's like, oh, that's great, like, do you teach blues in the strumming course? And I'll say, yes, I do teach some blues strumming patterns, but if you're really into the blues, what I would recommend you do instead, so you're kind of like disqualifying them from the strumming course, what I would recommend you do instead is go check out my Blues Guitar 101 course. It's 50 courses on blues guitar. We talk about rhythm, we talk about lead playing. So if you really love the blues, I wouldn't get the strumming course. I'd actually recommend you go get the blues guitar course instead, and we'll do really specific blues strumming and blues technique in that. So it's interesting because, you know, you're being honest now with your audience, being like, oh wow, they told me not to do that. They told me to do this instead. So you're being helpful. So you can always, you know, pivot and recommend people to other courses depending on what they're asking in the chat. And the biggest help is having some scarcity. So if you have a promotion going on, so say for example, let's talk Black Friday, because Black Friday is a big event for everyone. It's a big, big day for us. And say it's Black Friday. I might go live on Monday or maybe the Sunday before Black Friday and say, hey, everyone, we're having a big Black Friday event coming up. I have a special for people on my mailing list and my YouTube subscribers here, but it expires on Friday. So you just have 5 days to go and get this. So go and get this right now. I'm going to put a link in the description below. Sometimes I will go live and I'll be like, guys, you only have the weekend to get it. I might go live on Saturday and say, hey, you got, you know, get today, tomorrow, it's going away on Monday. So if you see this video and you're considering it, you better get it now, because if you wait too long, it's going to be gone. So having that scarcity, and it's tricky to do stuff like that on YouTube sometimes because, you know, someone might not see this video until a week later, depending on how their subscriptions are and their notifications. They might not see it for a week later and they might miss out. But if you get 100, 200, 300 people on your live, even if you get 50 people, and you can get a bunch of those people to go over to your website and purchase something, then that is an amazing thing. And I go live for an hour. There's been times where I've gone live, you know, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, and I will make a couple $1,000s for going live. Even if I make a few sales, even if I'm like, I just sell a couple courses and it's like, I just made $600 for going live. Was it worth going live for an hour to make $600? The answer is yes. All right, the answer is yes. So even if you're only getting 20 people on your lives, you're not like me, you're not getting hundreds of people, maybe you're only getting 20 people, 30 people, but if you can get 2 of those people to convert into a course, especially if it's, you know, a $200, $300, $400 product, it's worth going live because you make the sales and you make the money. If you haven't started going live on your channel, even if you have a small audience, it's a great way to start connecting with your YouTube community, and it's a great way to start promoting your products and letting people know. Don't be afraid to tell people you have a product, that you have something for sale, okay? You are here to build a business, you are here to make money, you are here to help people too. So don't be afraid to promote your products, tell people you have something for sale, and encourage them to go and buy it. And if you're interested in learning more about growing an audience on YouTube, what that takes and how long the process can be, go check out this video over there where I show you how I went from making $0 on YouTube to building a channel to making multiple 6 figures a year.